Coding are the specific scientific marks that help us to know how to read a word. For example, when you look up a word in the dictionary, there are typically code marks that break the word down that help us to understand how to read the words. Take a look at this. So let's give a couple examples of words when we code. Now take for granted, you may not know what any of these mean, but I'm going to show you how to code. So when we take a look at our first word here, the first thing we do is that I see a suffix. I know that if I remove the ing from the base word, that I have a word that can still stand on its own. So with my suffix, I'm going to box that in because I know that's acting as a suffix. Now I can go back to my base word and I can take a look. Now this word has two syllables because we have two vowels that occur. So I know that this is a V, C, C, V rule. I'm going to divide down the center. I know that the first vowel will be short because it has a consonant behind it. And I know that the second vowel, it has an ER. So I know this will act as a combination. And it's at the end of a word, which means it's going to be unaccented, which means our accent will automatically fall on the first syllable. Now I know that the sounds will be I, T, W, inter, winter. I add my suffix, wintering. We go to our next word, and again, I look to see if I have a suffix on the word. So I know that if I remove the ed, there is still a word that can stand on its own. So I will box in my suffix, and I know that the ed, now we know that R is a voice sound. It vibrates the throat. So I know that in this particular ed is going to have the sound of a D at the end. So now I can go back. I see two vowels again. So we have our V, C, C, V rule. We're going to pull down. I know the A will be short because there's a consonant behind it. Again, you have ER, which will act as a combination. And again, the ER will be unaccented, which means our accent will fall on the first syllable. So now we can sound it out. B, at, bat. The second T will not be pronounced because it's a double medial consonant. So b, at, batter, battered, okay? Now we will go to another example. Here, again, I see that I have ed at the end. If I remove the ed, there is still a base word. So I will then box in my ed. I will go vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, and then I can split down the middle, and then my I will be short because it's followed by consonant, and then my E will be short because it's also followed by a consonant. Now I must decide where my accent falls. Now I know typically with the rule, we have the accent on the first syllable. If I follow that, we can now sound it out. I, in, t, e, d, tend, intend. Our accent is on the first syllable because our voice goes down as we say the second syllable. Intend. We add our ending, intended. This ed is going to say id because it ends in a D. Our final example we're going to use with our coding words to help us read these words. I'm going to look again. I can tell there's a base word already inside, so I'm going to box our suffix, and then we're going to go back and look at our V, C, C, V. We're going to divide right down the center. I know that I have a short O sound because it's followed by a consonant. We can cross out the second N because it's there, but it's not technically making any sound. And then we have a short E because it's followed by a consonant. So when I go to say this word, we have, I'm going to add the K back to our C because the C is making the K sound in the word. So we're going to now read it as K, con. The N here is silent, so we skip it. E, K, t, ect, connect, connecting. And those are just a few examples on how we code to read words.